Hello, Hasmouse Users here, and today, well, I think you know what I said I was going to get to. So, as you know, if you remember my last video where I ripped apart the Jetsons the movie, I should say, I said I review a made-for-TV movie that, of course, based on a Hanna Barbera show, worked on them. Okay, Bill Hanna just directed this, but not Joseph Barbera, but which I think is better. And I said it was Flintstones related, it's this. Hollyrock-a-bye Baby. Now this was released 93, I think it was, and it was part of a trilogy of Flintstones TV movies. There was I Yabba Dabba Doo, Hollyrock-a-bye Baby, then Flintstones Family Christmas, I think it was. Yeah, I think that was it. And it's basically the last of the future rendition of the Flintstones, because fans of the show would remember after the first series they would actually age the characters. Okay, Pebbles and Bamm Bamm mostly, and it was after this trilogy that they just reverted back to the original, what was left off from the show. And I'm gonna admit I am disappointed because honestly, I don't see any reason why they could have actually kept doing this rendition and just keep on, aging the characters. That was a fine thing I liked. But enough about that. Shall we get on to the story? Well, so what's the premise? Hang on a sec. So, as I was saying, so the Flintstones and the Rubbles head to Hollyrock to visit Pebbles and Bamm Bamm after they got a home video saying that Pebbles is pregnant. And they go to see the kids along with Wilma's mother and Dino, of course. But the kids are having problems. Pebbles is trying to make a get a promotion at an advertising agency that she's just transitioned to by working for a big name Hollyrock actor. And Bamm Bamm is trying to successfully submit a script based on their marriage in the previous movie. Yeah. And of course, well, Fred and Barney try their best to work the whole things out, but seem to make things worse, which eventually leads to them accidentally grabbing a pearl from a bunch of gangsters who they think are screenwriters. And, well, Wilma and Betty are nagging Pebbles to make the right choice for all the kids when all she wants is just to make her own decisions in life and her own rules with her family. So, yeah, it's complicated and very similar. In fact, this is very similar to I Yabba Dabba Doo. Although, okay, I haven't yet reviewed that. I will get to that eventually, but honestly, I think this is better than I Yabba Dabba Doo. I'll talk about that when we get to it. First off, might as well start off with what doesn't work in the movie. Well, as I said, the middle. So basically, once Flintstones and Rubbles see the kids, it sort of stalls a bit. Yeah, there's some funny moments like Fred and Barney's encounters with the gangsters, but until Wilma's mother gets kidnapped, there's not really. It's mostly by the numbers. I would say the best scene in that middle part is when Fred and Barney have to go to a birthing prep class in Pebbles and Bamm Bamm stead. That's one of the funniest moments in the movie, but yeah, it's kind of you can just sort of skip it. The animation, yeah, okay, this is better than what they would Hanna Barbera usually did for their TV shows, but even then there's still some goose. I think there's one moment I can clearly remember where Fred's eyebrow basically duplicates itself, and and that's, yeah, I know Hanna Barbera animation is usually cheap, but yeah, you can notice it. All the side characters in this and the characters they add are very bland and they're barely invoked. To be honest, they keep the main focus on the family. But surprisingly, Dino doesn't get that much time. And of course, the jokes and puns we usually get from this, they're okay, but as I said, not not really the best. Some are painfully obvious and dull and bland, but there are some jokes that work. It's more the physical comedy that really shines with the Flintstones. Like, especially seeing Fred and Barney get themselves hurt, Bam Bam beating up folks with his muscles, and even the lines how the characters say their lines. That's how it works. But the puns, they weren't really the strongest point. And as I said, well, actually, I'll get to that last part in the next part. So, what does work? Well, while I said the middle stalls, the opening and the climax are perfect. So basically, as I said, up to when the Flintstones rebels arrive to see the kids, so the opening to that point. So that's great, and the end and the climax. So basically, where Wilma's mother gets kidnapped and Pebbles goes into labour, is the fun moments. That they are highlights, and I would recommend watching them anytime. And the car chase in the final act, where Fred, Barney, and Pearl, I think that's Wilma's mother's name, have to drive Pebbles to the hospital in a bus while being chased by the gangsters, who are themselves being chased by the bus driver who Fred took the bus from, a painter who the bus driver stole his bike, and who Barney used some of his paint before to mask up the Pearl, to make his bowling ball mask like Pearl, and then join Betty, Bam Bam, and Wilma chasing behind them with the police on their backs. That's a fun moment. Even with cheap animation, it actually works out pretty well. And Pebbles giving birth to twins. Yeah, they're named Roxy and Chip. It's really fun. I like that. And then there's the song, which you were hearing, Hollyrock-a-bye Baby. It's actually a really good song. It does feel like a song you would hear from the 90s, but in a way, it does work. It feels natural. It feels like something I like it. It's not bad, and it's honestly a really good one. And the voice acting is honestly one thing that shines with Hanna Barbera Productions is the voice acting. Okay, well, the Jetsons had problems, but in most cases the voice acting is really good. Jean Vanderpearl, the original actor for Wilma, reprised her role for those three movies, and even though she doesn't sound as what she did in the early days of the show, and even some spin-offs, I think it fits because now Wilma's becoming a grandmother, so it works. Henry Corden, the second actor to play Fred returns, and he does a good job too. Kath Soucie plays Pebbles, and she does well. Frank Welker ends up playing Barney and Dino, and Frank Welker is possibly one of the best voice actors in the land of animation at the moment. Well, voice actors currently living at the moment, so he does a good job. Mark Hamill plays one of the gangsters, and you know how much I love Mark Hamill. He does a great job. Raquel Welch plays one of the big-name Hollywood rock actors who Fred and Barney are trying to sell the screenplay to. And Jeanette Waldo, the original voice actor for Judy Jetson, actually voices Pearl here, so Wilma's mother. And considering how much I missed her as Judy in Jetsons the movie, it's welcome to see her in something. Yeah, so as I said, the voice acting works out well. And as I said, this does feel like something Hanna Barbera actually worked on, and not like Jetsons the movie. And even though it was just Bill Hanna directed this, Joe Barbera still was, I think, an executive producer and consultant on this. And well, it ends up working out really well. I can definitely tell this is a something Hanna Barbera worked on. In fact, they even had their names put in the scene just up. In the previous movie, Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera actually made cameos in Yabba Dabba Doo at the wedding ceremony, and this time they actually, they don't physically appear. They actually deliver They actually have some flowers that they delivered to them off screen to Pebbles and Bamm Bamm after the Pebbles gave her to the twins. So yeah, that's fine. That I like. But one thing I will have to admit, I do wish they had have kept doing the future renditions of these characters. I mean, yeah, I know the original format is iconic, but I like when shows do that. They animated shows, I should say, when they age the characters. It makes things feel like the universe is actually expanding and not staying the same. And it's just something I feel like could work. I mean, just think about it. I mean, what if we had shows like say DuckTales and what else is there? I was thinking of something. Phineas and Ferb, yeah, Phineas and Ferb and The Simpsons and South Park. What if the characters actually aged and begin to accustom to new things? In fact, I think if this idea of aging the characters as the show goes on, or the series goes on, is something Rugrats will end up doing a bit with the all grown up stuff. And yeah, just saying, it can work, and I wish more features like this would do it. But in the end, I still think you should give this a go. I mean, by far, this is better than Jetsons the movie. But in terms of Hanna Barbera TV movies, this is actually really one of the best ones. I mean, there are a few other good ones. I mean, most of the Yogi Bear ones were good. Some of the Tom and Jerry ones, like Fast and the Furry, were really good. And yeah, and as I said, Jetsons meets Flintstones is a really good one. But definitely give us a go if you want to try something just Flintstones related. It's well worth your time, and I say, give it a look, give it a watch. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And I think this deserves a 7.5 out of 10 hat stars. I have problems, but it's good enough. And so, what's next for my channel? Well, I've got a couple of ideas before Christmas comes around, and you'll see them as they come around. I've got a couple of video games to go do, especially Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which is being released this week. And who knows, maybe there's some collabs I'm going to do with my brother, and of course I got stuff on Before the Flick too. So in the meantime, Hazmat is out. I'll catch you later for the next few. Ciao.